year Spaceship Music Collective. This is Sick Set Bro, a misguided adventure through the social fringe of the music industry. I'm your host, Dom Maple. What's happening, boys? Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. This is a music and entertainment podcast called Sick Set Bro, brought to you by the good folks over at Your Spaceship Music Collective. My name is Dom Maple. I almost forgot my name for a second. And I'm joined as I am every week. Oh, I'm getting phone deets. Oh, that's already a failure of a podcast. Let's do it all again. Let's do it all again.
Cut.
Oh, deet. I don't even know what. Is somebody trying to contact me? Any of you guys trying to phone me? You're the only two friends I have, so if it's not you, then it's probably some stranger trying to scam me. So I'm Don Maple, and I'm joined by my only two friends in the world. One of them is my brother, so that's an even sadder situation.
It's cheating, yeah.
The one and only Money Mike. Oh, cash, money, and you know this motherfucker. You know him. He's from Pluto, the planet that's not a planet anymore. It's just a rock. But we all learned that it was a planet, but that's where he came from. And it's you know him. He's Nandez the Nandinator, and he's got a pen.
That was my clap. That was like my.
Oh, like a clicky pen instead. Yeah, that's it. I'm trying to find some sort of alliteration, like the Portuguese pen prophet or something.
It was like when
Wow.
claps were too aggressive, so people started doing this.
Oh, you had the clicky fingers or the two-finger clap.
Yeah.
There's always the two-finger clap that you
couldn't
could
clap because it was too aggressive.
Yeah, it's too aggressive.
I like the Portuguese pen prophet. That sounds very mysterious. Like he was a mute from a child, and like he writes the future down with his magical pen.
I just thought it sounded like a fucking rapper name, like something you'd spit on a bar and be like Portuguese pen prophet. I don't know, like they call me the Portuguese pen prophet.
Imagine if someone done that, knew the future, wrote it down, told everyone that he knows and wrote it down, but never show. It's just like this.
Just burn it.
Yeah.
Would you want to know though? Would you want to know?
I don't know. Would you want to know the future?
Oh my God, we're how many minutes? We're 2 minutes 36 into the podcast, and you're asking me what I want to know my own future.
Yeah, it's getting existential already.
I don't know.
How far in the future would you want to know?
Oh.
If you could pick a time.
If somebody could tell you the date that you died, would you want to know? One of these questions.
No.
Is that a movie? It sounds like a movie. If it's not Hollywood, I'm here.
Like would you not want to know?
Just like a couple of months, like when we're able to get back out and doing shit again.
Exactly. Like I would go right. Tell me what happens between now and November 1st.
But what if you kept kind of like going, can we do stuff by July? And he was like, well, no. Can you do stuff maybe by August? Well, no. So, like, what happens in October? Oh, the world's ended. Too far.
You went too far. How many times can you ask this question? Because it feels a bit of a waste to be like, what's going to happen next week? Magic 8 ball? Magic pen prophet? Well, I forgot what we were doing. We were talking about the Portuguese pen prophet. I don't know, but it is, I will patent it after this, just in case there is a movie made on the book. Haven't written the book yet, but I'll write the book, and then there'll be a movie based on the book.
You get three questions every 10 years.
It's kind of like a real shit Aladdin. Like
it's like
it's like maybe the Portuguese knockoff version of Aladdin. You find it in like one of these reduction bins for a VHS, the Portuguese pen prophet.
Filmed like a Bollywood movie.
Lowly Portuguese man stumbles across pen prophet who gives him 3 wishes every 10 years.
And his footsteps
it's just pen clicks. It's all coming together. That's why they call him that. It's nothing to do with actually writing with a pen.
And he does that like special thing we used to do in school. We used to like flick it around your thumb and then catch it like you were writing.
Anyone
do that?
I couldn't do that.
Like do that.
I was not. I could have a rubber pencil thing going. Does that look any good? Like I have a rubber pencil. All audio listeners have zoned out. They're gone. You have derailed this. It's all fucking gone. Let's just get back on track.
It's like the longest intro we've ever done.
Time to get real, man. Time to talk shit about the things we can't stand. Ain't nobody out there's getting a pass. Smarten Up Dumbass.
Always gotta get my beer.
Like, see, we don't have drinks, but he doesn't.
I don't give you any warning, no, sorry. But I mean, like, you need a aggressive Stone Cold can open is the only way to do it. Oh, he's wearing Stone Cold, love it. Welcome to Smarten Up Dumbass. That's the nation's favorite segment. It's within the Six Set Bro podcast universe, and it's just one where I complain about things. I'm not gonna pretend that any of it makes any sense, but people love it, so we keep doing it. You know what or who I'm gonna complain about this week, and I think me and Mike are gonna be on board. Andy, I think you're gonna cause some shit about this. Martin Scorsese.
I literally read the thing. Yeah.
Martin Scorsese needs to just realize that it's 2021. He just needs to, okay, everyone? The man has made some of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. But over recent years, he just keeps saying things that really reveals that he is an old man. And it's kind of sad for me to see. I don't even know if this is an angry thing. It's just depressing.
Have you guys heard about this streaming stuff?
He's like as bad as Joe Biden, like talking old man stuff whenever he's interviewed. But his most recent thing is that he started talking about within the pandemic, there's a lot of movies that are going straight to streaming services now. For the mere reason you can't go out to a cinema. Movie studios have made these things. They need to release them. They're making deals with stuff like HBO Max to stream stuff immediately. I'm trying to think of it. Like, what are some of the movies going on there? There's like the Justice League Snyder cuts going straight to HBO Max.
The new Suicide Squad.
The new Suicide Squad.
There's like this very Seven-esque movie with Rami Malek and Denzel Washington that looks really cool. It's like about a serial killer. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of all these blockbuster movies. They're going
Wonder Woman as well.
Not ideal. Like, I'll give them that, but it's this whole thing of like. It's killing cinema. So his most recent thing that he has said is that moving these things to streaming services devalues cinema as content. Mike, you said it the best. This has been
what I said.
This has been musicians for fucking years.
Oh yeah.
You know what? Martin Scorsese, grow up, because this is exactly what has happened with musicians, and it's only hitting cinema now. Complain all you want, but this is what's happening, man. If it's better for consumers, then that's what's gonna happen, and if it's more affordable for them, they're gonna enjoy it more.
There was certain bits about the article that I was reading that I kind of agreed with what he was trying to get at. It was basically, people said like he literally wrote an essay about cinema and stuff, and he was sort of saying like that like curation is really important, and they're not streaming services. I can't remember what he was referring to, but there's certain like places that like actually curate films and stuff, and they're like classic films. And he's saying about, I think he's kind of like getting at the man a little bit, like the suits and the execs that like own the rights to really classic films that he loved and stuff. And he's like, these guys don't even realize the importance of cinema or the relevance of like a classic film. They don't care about the history of cinema, sort of thing. So they just sell it. It's like, you know, Citizen Kane is content just the same as like the new episode of friggin' The Masked Singer or something like that. It's all just content to sell. And he's saying like there is certain places that actually like curate cinema and like try and offer up stuff that is historical, if you know what I mean, and like people should see and try and understand if they are a fan of cinema. And that's where I could kind of relate a little bit in, like, it's always been our attitude with music, that like algorithms are a horrible thing, because all they do, like the Facebook algorithm that has caused so much fucking chaos and so much friggin' hate in the world, is just put you inside your own circle and just keep firing stuff at you that, like, you live within your own echo chamber, and you just keep getting stuff that you like. It's the same with music. At the end of the day, it's like it just connects genres, and it connects what's popular in those genres, and it just feeds you that stuff, and it doesn't allow you to like grow as a music fan in any way. So I think one of the things that I did agree with reading that article, what he was saying is that, like, human curation of cinema, the same way like we say about like human curation of playlists, and like I'd definitely take a human recommendation of a movie or a song over just what's fed up to me on Spotify. Like, I actually like that whenever somebody messages me or somebody says to me, check out this song. Like, I might not get to it right away, but like, don't think that I don't care. Like, I always try and check out recommendations, because I feel like, you know, people are trying to make a connection with you whenever they say, oh, I think I know your taste in music, or I think I know your taste in movies or whatever, and I think maybe you would like this if you checked it out, sort of thing. It's like, it's not coming from a robot, which is kind of cool. And I think that was part of the thing in the article that I actually found interesting. But yeah, for the most part, it's like, yeah, where have you been, dude? This has like been happening for absolutely ages.
Mike defending Scorsese, treating it like the fucking big question over here. That's we're not a big question yet, my man. This is just me talking shit about old man Scorsese. Just go and make movies. Stop talking about it. Stop talking about it, dude. Please. You're too old. You're too old, and I am being very ageist right now. But he's showing it, and he's just, oh, remember the cinema? Oh, I used to go and get a popcorn with a half shilling. I don't know.
The funny thing as well is that he's kind of getting laid into streaming services, but yet Netflix basically was responsible for The Irishman, and he has a movie coming out on the Apple streaming service next, I think.
Yeah, and he like de-aged the fuck out of like some top-notch actors, and it's like, don't shit on technology, Scorsese. Look, Martin Scorsese, you're a great filmmaker. You probably have some valid points, but, you know...
So go home. We love you. You're very special.
Martin, smarten up, you dumbass.
Time to get real mad. Time to talk shit about the things we can't stand. Ain't nobody out there's getting a pass. Smarten up, dumbass.
Hey, you guys remember the rapper Twista? Not Twister, but Twista? He had an A on the end.
Yeah.
I was listening to some old school rap the other day. This is so not anything, but remember whenever he was like really popular? Whatever happened to like we used to really enjoy when people rapped fast? I feel like that was a thing for a while, and then everyone was like, oh yeah, this is nothing. If anything, people rap so slow now. Like I was having this moment where I was thinking about this like last weekend, and I was like, this is nothing. This isn't even a conversation topic, but I was like, he must have had to have written so many words. Like whenever he wrote
so much more work.
It was like a fucking novel that he would have had to write. Bring like Harry Potter in the Order of the Phoenix. He was bringing that into the studio and be like, I got my next single. and now people are coming in and it's like 3 words because everything is just drawn out and auto-tuned. And I'm like, well, that's not fair. Is it?
That was also like, it was weird. There was a time where it was almost like the measure of a rapper. It's like, oh, well, this guy can go quicker than this guy, so faster. He's obviously better.
But can he rap fast is the question. It didn't even matter if it was good. It was like, that's nothing. Like everyone's just being Scatman John.
Oh God.
What do you call that that song he was on with Jamie Foxx and Kanye? Yeah, that was a song.
Once a Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
That was a jam.
That's as close as we can get without getting copyright. Copyright strike. This is completely out of key. Yeah, that was great. I know I was telling my wife about that the other day. I was like, this is the first thing I ever seen Jamie Foxx in, ever. Was in that video for Slow Jams.
Really?
Yeah, that's so weird.
That was the first thing I ever seen him in, was that.
You never see his stand-up?
No, not until after, like, that's the first thing I knew Jamie Foxx from, was the College Dropout, the Kanye West record. And then he's like a superstar actor now, and I'm like, it's so funny he was in Slow Jams.
His stand-up. I found out about Jamie Foxx the same way as I found about Childish Gambino, through their stand-up first, and then everything else came later.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
I think Childish Gambino was a bit back to front for me. It was like I heard 3005, and then I had watched Community after that, and then after Community I watched the stand-up, and then he became fucking huge.
Jamie Foxx's stand-up's hilarious.
Yeah, I would imagine so. That guy is very, very funny. But yeah, I was just like, why do we love that so much? Why do we love Twista so much? And why do we not love him now? That's a question.
Were you not reminded of why we love Twista whenever you were listening to him again? No? Or were you kind of like, no, this is younger Stu?
Not at all.
Why did I listen to this?
Listen to Overnight Celebrity with all them high-pitched Kanye produced tracks. Just like, well, play some of these hoes I like. Drive whips I know they like. Twista, you told them like I can make you a celebrity overnight. Doesn't even fit. That was Kanye. Dude. Speaking of hip hop, we actually we were like messing around with a little bit of a live stream before we did tonight's episode. Just out of the blue, we had longtime listener of the show, John Andrews, jumped on, and he wanted to know if we had heard anything or what we were thinking about the next Kendrick Lamar single.
That'll be different if he comes back and starts rapping fast like he used to.
We all love Mike. Kendrick raps fast sometimes, but he doesn't rap Twista fast. I mean, literally, the thing that gets me about Twista, I'm going off again about Twista, but I mean, he's literally called Twista because it's like, tongue twisters. Like tongue twisters, like he raps so fast, he does tongue twisters. I'm like, his whole thing is I rap fast. He can never branch out. He's never gonna release anything different. It's like your persona is I rap really fast. That's my thing. That's all I do. The songs don't need to mean anything. They're just really, really, really fast. Anyway, John asked us about the new Kendrick single. We've heard rumblings. If you follow like the TD Instagram and you follow enough people on Twitter and stuff, you start to piece things together like a friggin' detective with a giant magnifying glass. I seen that he was definitely filming a music video. I did see that out in LA somewhere, as far as I know, and which tells us that there should be a single on the way. But that was months ago, man. I think I seen those pictures. I don't know if you can remember better than me, Andy, but there's definitely that up.
Sitting by the phone. Yes,
in like a phone booth or something. So it seems like there's definitely something there. A lot of people seem to think that the album is done. There's been a couple of other rappers that have been in the studio and stuff and, been in contact with him that are like, oh, he's sitting on that. Like, that is finished. But you never know with Kendrick. I mean, he works till like the last minute. I know he did the same with Damn. It's like people thought it was done. It was like he worked, I think, right until the day before release.
See, I think
it's just how he is.
I think even if he has got a project finished, TD always do the same rollout where they go through their artists. So SZA will come out with something, then J-Rock will come out with something, then maybe Absol, something with like, I don't know, like J-Rock will hop on like a Schoolboy Q song, and then you start hearing Kendrick on features.
Yeah.
And then it's that, but it's like a 5-month process of it's always SZA first because she's just started releasing stuff. Then J-Rock's in the studio.
I see. Yeah.
It's like they always do the rollout. It's the same as Dreamville. Cole always goes last.
Yeah.
Always goes last. He's like, right, let's drop this, give these people their flowers, and then I'm just gonna hit it big at the end. Yeah. So I think that's what's happened. And even if he, like I said, if he has something finished, it's always gonna be SZA, J-Rock, then possibly like something in between, and then he might drop another Heart. Is it Heart Part?
The Heart Part 5. It will
5
be
it would be now.
5.
Yeah. Which is how I would love for him to come back, because I love the heart sort of intermissions in between albums, which if anyone maybe is a bit clueless to this, it's what Kendrick Lamar has done in between all main full-length LP projects. Is he releases these tracks called The Heart, and there's been The Heart Part 1 through to 4 now in between each album, and it's great because it's sort of like, it's like one verse that is just like straight up fire, like to remind everyone why he is the best rapper out there, the best MC. It's like he gets back on, it's like, I'll take away the conceptual stuff for a minute of the whole art in my project, and I'll just be like, oh, here's why I'm a great rapper. Just going crazy on people. Usually shows you kind of where he's at in his life as well, which I really like it. It's kind of like a little stamp mark to be like, oh, Kendrick was feeling this at that moment. Usually uses instrumentals from the album that's coming out.
It's gonna say musically, it's just like almost like a teaser to what's coming sometimes.
But I love it because it just like he hits out at stuff, and it's just like it gets him on top, and then you're waiting for the record after that. It's a great way to do it, really. It's like he can go away for years and then come back and be like, oh, by the way, still the best. Still the best.
So I've just written down what order could potentially happen. I think it will go SZA first. Then there's an artist called Sir, S-I-R. Yes. Then Absol. Then Schoolboy. Then J-Rock. Then Kendrick.
So if we had to put money on it right now, what month are you thinking Kendrick's coming out? We should write these down, and we will, I don't know, for pride.
I have 2 predictions still ongoing, right?
I wrote them down in a book somewhere,
Rihanna bringing out an album this year,
which I dispute. I don't think that's happening.
And then there was an NBA one. Oh yeah, the Bucks not reaching the playoffs.
Yeah, which I also dispute.
Yeah, well, I think when did Damn and Pimp a Butterfly come out?
Oh God, you're asking me. I have no idea, man.
Are they?
I want to say Butterfly was like 2015 or something.
But like, what were they similar? Were they similar months? Like,
I think Damn was 2017. I know Damn came out in. It was after April because he released.
Pimp a Butterfly was 15th of March 2015.
March, April.
Yeah,
okay.
That's, to me, I think it's springtime because Damn was similar.
So SZA has already done singles, like a lot of singles. I don't know if I think she's dropped an EP, so that's a project.
Damn was 14th of April 2017.
So there's April and yeah.
Yeah, so they are kind of spring.
Yeah. So Sir has brought out something. So that leaves Absol, Schoolboy. J-Rock's obviously working on something, and then you'll get Kendrick after that. Because J-Rock initially was the forefront of TDE.
Yeah, not anymore, boy. Unfortunately. J-Rock's great, but I mean, he's not anymore. Come on, Kendrick is top dog. He is the top dog of Top Dog Entertainment. So pick a month, Andy. I'm putting it in your predictions. I've got a book that holds Andy's predictions for 2021 right here, and we write them down.
This is my what did we call it again? The Portuguese pen. Future pen.
Yeah.
Pen.
Future pen profit. We've already forgotten it. It's gone.
I'm gonna say late April. So
late April. Okay, we've got you down. Andy's predictions 2021 so far goes like this: Rihanna drops an album in 2021. The Milwaukee Bucks won't reach the NBA playoffs. RMR rumor makes it big time this year, and Kendrick Lamar releases his next album in late April. So we'll keep you tuned on that one. We'll go back to that every couple episodes to see how Andy's doing. And then it'll be the culmination.
If he starts to get some stuff right, then I'm gonna ask him like when's this pandemic crap all over and done with.
I might ask him for lottery numbers. Right, let's change of pace. Couple of things happening this week. Well, actually tomorrow, I got Output Belfast. I am thinking tomorrow, right? What day are we on? Wednesday?
Is it Wednesday?
Tomorrow must be Thursday. I think that's right. Output Belfast, which is great big old music conference-y thing. We usually talk about it every year on the podcast. It's great. Lots of workshops, lots of talks with music industry professionals, it's usually a lot better because you can go there and you can have these talks. Like me and Mike went one year and they had Steve Albini, who's a producer we talked about on the last episode with the Risi Jaro guys. And he was there and he done a whole talk and that was awesome. It's such a great event. So yeah, it sucks.
Like 3 times as they had Mogwai at one as well, which was incredible. Right, yeah. And they had another standout thing for me was they had, I can't remember his name off the top of my head now, but it was the guy that done the very like electronic soundtrack for the horror movie It Follows. And he was talking about like doing music for movies and stuff, and that was very cool too. Right. But there's always like the people that they manage to get for those conferences is always really cool.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's one of the great things in the art center that happens every February. The only thing that sucks is obviously with the coronavirus this year, we can't have it. But they are going to do it in a virtual capacity. If you look it up on Facebook, there's definitely going to be all the stuff. But as far as I know, it's live streamed tomorrow, right?
Why not just hold everything in the middle aisle of a shop and then everybody can go? Sorry, tangent.
Oh, Andy needs one of these. I should make Andy his own.
That probably was what I was thinking about the other day.
But yeah, I'm saying this. I do not have it in front of me, but I think
it's I'm on the page now. Basically, there's Output Belfast website, and I assume that's where everything is going to happen. Because if you hit that page at the minute, it just says this page will go live morning of 18th of February.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you can jump on there, and it looks like you'll just be able to watch it.
It's basically never been easier to attend this conference. Yep. So
again, maybe not ideal because I think it's way more beneficial to be there, network with people, things like that. It's great to do that. But
you're missing the networking, but you know what you're not missing, and what I always came away with, because sometimes I came away and I didn't really feel like networking. I know you probably agree, Stu. Networking's never been really our strong point. We're crap at talking.
I don't want to talk to people.
Big public spaces. I love to talk to people, but I just find it so hard to start. But
don't approach me. Don't approach me.
But what I always came away with, whether I got talking to people or not about stuff, was like inspiration and like seeing like loads of cool people do really cool things or like talk about really cool things and kind of give you that push to go, oh, I could do something like that, or that gives me an idea or like a spark of something. So you can still get that from the comfort of your own home in your boxers watching Output Belfast. Definitely.
And that is really the best thing about the pandemic. I know there's been a lot of jokes made, but I know that I've definitely been naked more than I ever have been in recent years. Just I mean, look, we're all in the same boat. We may as well talk about it. We've definitely been naked more because there's nowhere to go to, and you just take everything off. You're just maybe a dressing gown. Like, I mean, don't be sitting like a deli window at your front door or anything like that. Jesus Christ, have some dignity, man. But yeah, we're definitely letting them hang in the breeze. No, all right. Well, anyway.
Where's your crickets?
No, I don't play crickets for me. I play.
This is the problem. You. Andy, we need to have soundboard buttons as well.
Boring. Right. Look, folks, we're gonna, and you're gonna be shocked when I say it, but we're about halfway through the episode. We're heading to a quick commercial break. What is that? Yes, a commercial break. We're gonna do that. A commercial where we don't earn anything. We don't earn any royalties. Not yet, anyways.
Done it all out of the goodness of our hearts.
Out of the goodness of our hearts, but they're definitely legitimate advertisements.
Adverts that the people will actually like.
Yeah, I mean, stay
they're
tuned.
Relevant.
You don't want to skip these commercials. It's all I'm saying. But a quick commercial break, and then we get back to the show.
Hey there, fresh-faced creative in a youthful advertising demographic. Does your reading material have a distinct lack of cultural nourishment for your slowly decaying, malnourished soul? Stop! Put that garbage down. Everyone knows you shouldn't get your news from old mediums like paper. That's 2/8 century. Plug into the information superhighway, loser, and read a zine. It's like a magazine, but without all that dumbass paper. Read Stranger Days, the arts and culture e-zine. It's got music, comedy, art, poetry, tarot cards, cinema, year spaceship, comics, podcasts, and Jim Carrey. Read Stranger Days now, because between you, me, and your trusty canine companion, we know fluffy cuddles and easings are the only way to push back the existential dread slowly consuming your every waking moment. Hold back the darkness today with Stranger Days. Available now at strangerdays.wordpress.com.
If you want to wrap your ears around all the music we've been talking about on the podcast, we run a special playlist over on Spotify. It's called Distant Sound Waves. Here over at Six Set Bro, we always thought, well, what's the gosh darn point of doing a music podcast if you can't let people hear any music? There is a whole lot of legal mumbo jumbo and copyright issues that prevent us from actually doing that on the pod. So we thought that was a pretty good compromise. We make a playlist and it gets updated every single month. On the playlist, we have things like all the new singles from local homegrown talent that we've talked about. Maybe some of the bigger artists that we've had conversations about, we'll put those guys on there. Or maybe it's just something new that we stumbled across and we've been talking about on the podcast. It is all there. You can find Distant Sound Waves by searching for it on Spotify, or you can find the links all over our social medias. Welcome back to the show, everybody. So we got to get straight into, I think we got to get into the big question, and it has a stinger. If you missed the last episode, we got a brand new stinger for this one. And, the stinger represents how big the question is.
Ladies and gentlemen and children of all ages, it is time for
Welcome to the big question. It's a big old question this week. Big old question. One that a lot of people have when it comes to the release of music. I'm trying to remember how I actually put this up. The big question for anybody who's joining us for the first time this episode is a question that we put out into the internet, and you guys give us your comments and your thoughts back, and we discuss it in a round table environment. And it's all very nice, and we don't argue with each other or threaten each other with physical violence. This week, we put out the question into the internet and said, how do you go about releasing music? Like, what does your release plan look like? So I put a lot of subsections to this. Yeah. I'm trying to remember.
Do you want me to run down it? I can run down it here.
Please do, because I wrote it out and I was in a good state of mind. And now I've just had a ginormous tin of Heineken, and now I can't remember or talk straight now.
I wanted to point that out when you opened it. I was like, that is
it's giant the size of a boy head. And my head's ginormous. My head's bigger than a normal head, and we all know it. So don't judge me. Okay, Mike.
So whenever you were in a more eloquent mindset, you put it to the people as when you're dropping a new single, EP, or even full-length album, what elements do you feel must be in place for a successful release? Is getting the wood out early to build hype better than doing a surprise drop?
You just say getting the wood out? Getting the wood out?
Getting the wood out, yeah.
I thought you said getting the wood out. I'm like, we're back to talking about just standing naked in your living room again? Getting the wood out. Getting the wood out in the living room.
You know, in these trying times, if it sells records, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do.
It's
sometimes
content,
you just gotta get the wood out. Oh man, could this 6-set bro be more 6-set bro? Get the wood out, bro. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. Do you have a mailing list or contacts you reach out to for reviews? Do you search for radio airplay? Do you release singles before the whole project? Music videos, single artwork, PR companies? Tell us your 3 key actions when it comes to your release plan, and here are our thoughts on this week's episode of Six Step Bro Podcast.
Yeah, man. So like, this is the thing when it comes to releasing music for any artist that's done it. They've probably thought of all this stuff. I am sure, I'm so confident that this is a conversation for any band, is they've asked, like, what way should we go about it? Everyone thinks it's simple. Everyone's like, oh yeah, you write a song, you put it out. You got to have a release plan. You just got to. Some things work. I'm saying now some things work better than others, but my personal feelings on the whole thing is like it's luck of the draw. So sometimes some things work really well, and sometimes the exact same thing doesn't. It just depends, which is such an overview of the whole thing. But I think there's so much luck based on it as well.
I think you're very right about that. The only thing that I would add to that is I feel like there's some things that definitely don't work, or that you're wasting your time doing, or again, like the way that we talked about on previous episodes, it's all about like you only have so many hours in the day. It's like what is I think that was the best way to word the question. Is like, what are the 3 key things that you can't kind of miss out on? You know what I mean? What's definitely
important? Mike, do me a favor, and I think before we get into discussing it here, we'll go through a couple of the comments there. Michael, read out some of the comments that you guys sent in, and we'll try and get your thoughts as well, and then we'll discuss through them.
Yeah, so a couple of guys got back here that listen to the podcast. Peter from Laps, whoa, big up Laps, love those guys.
I love Laps.
He broke it down into 3 things that he would do, and he says, 1, I'll usually tease the release using either the artwork and or a small clip or snippet of the song. 2, this is actually quite a cool tip. I wasn't really, well, I personally haven't put out any music out in a good while. Like, we always done B-button stuff. Maybe you're more aware of this than I am, Stu, but like Spotify was kind of growing and like adding new features that maybe we didn't have back then on with B-button. But he says, I only just recently discovered this one and its benefits, but from now on, I'll send the tracks to Spotify weeks in advance to give them a better likelihood to be put on an official Spotify playlist, as well as asking folks to pre-save it for the same reason. So I didn't realize this was the whole reason. Like, people are doing all the pre-saves and stuff now. That wasn't a thing back whenever we were putting out B-button records. Like, so
yeah,
that's definitely a good tip for
definitely
anybody.
Has changed. And it's still evolving. I'll not go off in too much of a tangent while you're going through this, but it's definitely something that has changed in the span of time I've been releasing Don Maple music. It's something where you used to have to send off this specific thing and try and say what genre you fell into. And then Spotify curators would listen to songs, and then if they liked it, they would put it in a playlist or whatever. But it's kind of changed a little bit now as well. But sorry, continue. I'll not go off.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll do comments at the end there. Just so he says, number 3, then when the track is released or just before, I'll send the track to every major radio station I know of and see if they'll spin the track. BBC's Across the Line team are always great for it and have played 2 of our last 3 singles, so they're always our first port of call. And again, that's definitely a big one. Like, if you're putting music out on our music scene and you don't know about Across the Line, as Peter rightly says, it should be your first port of call.
Yeah,
BBC uploader, you stick it on there.
Easiest thing in the world. Like,
yeah. Facebook message maybe or something as well. Try and follow up, but like obviously politely. Would love for you to check out the song or whatever. But this is the thing we always got to remember. There's always younger bands, younger people coming up than us that maybe just haven't stumbled across this yet or don't know this information. You know. So
well, that's it. And it is like, I would say 99% of the time you will get something out of that, unless unless whatever you send is complete garbage, like the recording quality and everything is just so terrible. But even if they don't play the full track, a lot of the times they'll do like a track rundown where they'll maybe play like a couple of seconds of it and talk about it, and it's still something. Yeah.
The best thing I think to do, like doing. If you are a new band and you're like, is this good enough, is like listen to one of the shows and just like try and put yourself in an audience perspective or a listener perspective and take yourself, I know it's very hard to do, but take yourself out of the hard work you put into a song for ages and go, does this stand up beside the stuff that they're already playing there? But yeah, definitely get your stuff in there. So Daniel Lynch also left a comment. This is quite an interesting one, which we'll get into at the end. But he says, teasing seems to work well, but not too far out from release. Momentum seems to be the key. Keep things moving and always have a next thing to point people to, whether that's a video release separate to the single release or mentioning there'll be another single or a full EP album available down the line. I'm personally uneasy with the reliance on imagery to promote music. Single/album artwork is grand, of course, but I think bands are being judged by the quality/suitability of their images rather than their music. But a strong single image will make a difference in grabbing attention. Previously, I've used mailing lists to give people advanced listens to unreleased music. How well that's translated into success when the music is actually released is up for debate. Looking forward to listening to this and hearing you guys tease it out. Okay. So the last one then came in from Ben McGee of New Champion Management, and I think he gives a very valid point here, considering like he's working for a very reputable management company in the NI music scene. He says surprise drops are better for building hype for independent artists. Unless you've a significant budget for digital market spend, you want as little time between announcement and release as possible, and singles over EPs every time. Don't come near me with an EP. And as much as a music fan, I hate to say, like, if you have like a whole album or an EP or like a concept there and it's been thought out for months, possibly years, and you put so much work into it, and it's like, as much as a music fan, I would love to say, yes, give me all that music. At the same time, it's like, if this is like a new thing, a new project, a new artist, or you've like released a couple of things before, I have to kind of agree with Ben on the side of an average music listener who has like his favorite bands, like say Maximo Park, like drop a record or something for me, or like friggin' the original lineup of Block Party get back together or something, they drop a record. As much as I love those guys, it would still maybe take me like a week or two to find the time and sit down and listen to a full album of their music. So what does that mean for a band I've never heard of before? And I'm a willing listener to new music, and I search new music out, and still it's going to be difficult for me to take a new band that has put an album's worth of music out and try and give it the time of day. But if somebody puts out a single with like a really good video, and again, this is kind of touching on Daniel's point, which we can get into a little bit more later, but like a strong image and stuff as well, and it looks all really put together and it sells me on that. The problem is with anything, a lot of the times people are kind of basing stuff on first impressions, and it's like, you know, everybody knows like your music probably only gets the first 5 or 10 seconds to make an impression. That's the same with the image that you put out, whether it be the artwork or if you put a band press shot out or anything else. It all has to be there, and it literally has to capture somebody immediately. And you have to be thinking that way if you're putting music out, I think is kind of why I agree with what Ben is saying there. It's like, definitely I can see singles working better for people if they're trying to get established. It's like
right. So let's break it down a little bit here and break it down into segments. So I think first of all we'll talk about the single thing first, because Andy, I'm pretty sure you've said several times on this show that you'd rather take an album or an EP any day over a single. Yeah.
Is this for like an established artist that you know, or like if you're getting introduced to somebody new, does it then change?
If it's someone new, I'd probably maybe go down the road of EP instead of just one single and then don't hear anything for 6 months.
Yeah, which I think is part of the problem as well. And I think Ben did say it in his comment. There was the closeness between releases. And that's where it's like, I'm saying this as somebody who does not do this. I am very bad at operating that way, but I almost feel like if you have an EP it probably is better to have like a 3-track EP and then release one single and then like wait a month and then release another single and then wait a month or whatever.
So it's like that singer, the R&B singer Victoria Govea. She put like a small Hate Me Like Me, just a small 2 singles in a little 2-pack package, and then she started releasing stuff after that, single form, but at least there was like 2 projects in the 1 pack. I was like, yeah,
but it's the constant problem with music is like it is going to be subjective in a certain way. I'm trying to think about how I personally consume stuff as well, and it does make it different. It makes it different from how I make things to how I consume them, which makes it really difficult for me. So anyone that follows me as an artist will know that the last EP I released was called Sad Boy, and even though it was an EP, which is kind of just meant to be like, short and to the point, it's not really meant to be a whole project. It was pretty much a small album because it was a conceptual thing, and I had a theme that flowed throughout 3 tracks, and there was a point to the whole thing. It wasn't just 3 banging singles that I thought were really good. It was a project, because for me as an artist, the only way I can get excited about something, unfortunately, is if there's a meaning behind it and a concept to it. Like, I need that to thrive. But that's just, I've learned that over time of what makes me tick. So I think if I was to really try and take the road of I'm only going to release singles, or I'm going to write like an EP and then split it up, I'd find it really hard to work like that, even if it is the more marketable way to work. And I think somebody like Ethan Hanna, who we talked to recently, he was making some very good points about how the first thing he did was release a debut album. He had a single before, but he did a full-length album. And he goes, a lot of people would say that's maybe one of the worst market-based moves that you could do. But that's how he works. And it seems like that's what he's going towards for the second thing as well, is that he's probably going to do an album number 2. He doesn't strike me as a person that works in singles, to be honest. Yeah. And that's unfortunately how I am, even though I think it would be better for me if I did work in singles.
Do you know what's painful about what you've just said there? That, you know how, just to call back to the Scorsese thing, the devaluing of like cinema, you can make 22 tracks, but the way music is consumed now, they're going to take 1 track from your hard work 22, stick them on the playlist.
Probably.
The 21 doesn't get heard.
Probably. It depends. I think with true fans, it can. It really does depend, and it depends what kind of person you are to consume music. I mean, I know people who still will religiously buy albums, and they'll only do the albums. And then I know people that are more, jump on a playlist and listen to a couple of songs, general listener. That's it. But it's so hard to say.
Sorry, that's another thing with Apple. Spotify, I know it's probably bad business plan, but they should offer the person to purchase an album, and like, because
I think they should as well.
You can stream through Apple Music, but you can go to iTunes and purchase.
I think that as well, and I've thought that for a while. And they've toyed with it with this thing of like, oh, you can put like donation buttons and stuff on your artist profile. It's like, why not just like, put a direct like buy this album now, like as in one button, one click, buy this album because I really like it. I don't know how much it would get used, but maybe if it was like support this artist, like if it was titled that, it's like support this artist and then links to their merch and physically bought albums or whatever.
They managed to do it with like, this is the problem. They managed to do it with big artists, because have you ever got those Spotify emails where it's like such and such has done a special thing for you, and like you maybe get like a pre-order to a color edition vinyl or something like that or whatever. But it's like, if they have the platform there to be able to do that for like well-established artists, it's like, it would be great if like they teamed up with the likes of like a Bandcamp or something, and it's like, you just basically had to link those accounts together, and if, as you say, if you liked the artist enough and you wanted to actually purchase their music, and like they had like a record or something, this is the problem. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, all you're doing is you're basically just, you would really have to like the artist. You're just giving the money to the artist, because the problem is a lot of people starting out, it's like the only thing that nobody's going to buy a CD anymore. Let's be honest.
I don't
like,
think
you know what I mean?
No.
So
nobody's buying a CD unless it's
you
essentially charity. If you're playing a gig and somebody buys a CD off you, it's because it's charity. They're not playing it anyway.
You need to have the money behind you as like a band or an artist to actually have merch in the first place to offer people, and like the actual types of merch that people are buying.
They want, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, don't hand me a CD. I'm not gonna whip out a CD Walkman and go cheers.
Let's get that in. You may as well give them a cassette tape at this point.
I'll buy a T-shirt or something. Yeah.
But to be fair, we're probably getting a little bit away from the point here, anyways. But yeah, whenever it comes to singles versus EP, I do think singles are more marketable. I wish I could work more that way as an artist myself, but I think there's just different things that people thrive on. I think I would probably do better if I just wrote an EP and then split it up. But then to me, it would never be a cohesive piece of work, and I would find that difficult. But that's just me and how I operate. Plus, sometimes I like just to see what else, is it all going to be the same thing? Because sometimes you get like a direct impression of someone, which I find with bands sometimes, where I get linked into a single and I'm like, oh, dude, I love this thing. And then they do eventually release an album, or they release their EP, and I'm like, oh, this is way different than what I thought, like what my picture of that artist was. And I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing, because I've been pumping the single like crazy, but does it make me follow them further? Not really, because I feel like I was falsely advertised to a little bit. I'm just like, oh, I really like that style, but that's not what they're about. That was kind of like an outlier from what they do.
Continue.
Yeah. So to me, like something like a 2-3 track EP actually shows me what they are. I don't know. That's me as a consumer.
Well, there is that thing there, as you say, if you make the EP in that manner, but then you actually have a bit of restraint in releasing it, it's like hopefully then there will be like a bit of cohesiveness there if you did like drop them like one each month, if it was like a 3-tracker EP or something like that.
I know a band that's been experimenting like that on the Belfast music scene was Civil Simian. They done like 3 singles in 3 months.
It'd be interesting to hear from Sean to see how he felt.
How they did that,
because they done the same thing as Ethan, didn't they? They put out an incredible first album that to this day, it's like I feel like more people should have heard that.
I feel it's very underappreciated. The first the only Civil Simian album, very well thought out record, and I will say that endlessly because it's not listened to enough, and I think it deserves all the respect in the world. Definitely should have been up for like, to me, it should have been up for like album of the year at NI Music Prize, like 100%.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was so well thought out, and it's this thing of like bad marketing moves, inverted commas, which is unfortunate because depending on how you consume media, then it wasn't to me. To me, it was just like sold me on those guys even more because I'm like, oh my god, these guys really love what they do and they focus in so much on making it a one cohesive piece of work. And to me, the whole thing just like felt like a Pink Floyd record or something. I was like, I'm in. Like that got me more than any single would have, to be honest with you, because the single Believe that they brought out, I'm not even saying like it's not like I don't like Believe. I think Believe's a great song, but is that the one that would have had me as like a lifetime fan? I don't know. I don't really know if that's the one, because to me it was all the other songs that I fell in love with more on the record, especially the opener. Brittle is still to this day my favorite track on the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean we talked about this when Ethan was on the show, and this kind of just like, I mean, goes to show you we talk and talk until we're blue in the face about stuff. And like, to be honest, like even people higher up in the industry don't really have a clue what they're doing. At the end of the day, as you say, there is an awful lot of luck involved. And what we said to Ethan about like putting those albums out is like it can work for you in a different way. I personally am agreeing very much with what Ben is saying. And if I was to go for a release strategy, I would try and maybe hold back and like just do the single thing, at least until maybe you built up a very small fan base. But what we said to Ethan last week completely contradicts all that, and it's definitely valid too, is that having 2 full-length albums out there, which he will have whenever he gets this second one finished and recorded and stuff, there's a back catalog there for if you drop a single and somebody goes, oh, I love this single, and they go back and go, oh my God, this guy's had 2 albums out already. How did I not know about him before? And there's all this music there. It can work in your benefit in other ways. You know what I mean? And then it's like
done that before with people as well, where I've caught on to a single and then I go back and it's like, oh, there's a whole record here. That's awesome. And then become a fan because there's a lot to listen to rather than just one song. But
and then like, I mean, it is just speculation, but say somebody like that did get picked up by a label or something. It's like they already had those 2 albums out. Well, there's nothing to stop that label from going, these songs were absolutely incredible. We want to re-release these. We want to film videos for them. We want to actually put money behind them and like actually get them to the ears that deserve to hear it in the first place and stuff. So,
well, that's what happened with Brand New Friend was they had made an album of demos more or less, and then the label that wanted to sign them in the end decided that they wanted to release the demos, inverted commas again, that they had because they thought they were good enough to be something that they released on their label, and that came out then. So that to them that was the right strategy. But yeah, man, just depends. I'll shift gears here, and because we will talk about everything endlessly, so we'll move on to surprise drops versus the tease. The big question: the surprise drop or the tease. I know it's something, me and Mike, whenever we're in a band, the constant questions over this is what do you do? I know whenever we first started the band, we were very much in the camp of we were trying to tease everything.
Yeah. And then I feel like we were a bit young and naive at that stage though too.
I think so.
You do sort of realize, and it's a harsh realization, but like whenever you're young, you're excited about something. You don't realize nobody else is excited about it, which is unfortunately the truth, really.
Yep.
My whole opinion on this is like, just put the work in, do the stuff behind the scenes, and let the music and whatever else you've worked on, be it like, good press shots, videos, whatever else, let that all try and speak for itself when it comes out. It's like what Peter mentioned is like, tease it with the artwork or a small clip or snippet of the song, literally a couple of days before, like a week at the absolute most, I think. Like there's no point like putting big countdowns on or anything else, or like the fucking band memes thing, something's coming. Big things are happening.
Big things in the works, guys. Big things in the works. There's a reason it's a meme and it's a joke, is because like unfortunately people don't
falls into that trap.
Well, people don't care as well, that's, and I would say like, not that it was ever right whenever we did it, but I think from the time that me and Mike started Hit the B Button, years back till now, the world's only got faster, and the way people consume only gets faster, and it is hard. Like it is the most difficult thing in the world. It's like you are just trying to like squeeze something in that is gonna actually grab someone's attention and have them put the time and effort into listening and following, probably in a matter of seconds. Like you have to capture that, which is why at the end of the day, like whenever you talk about things like having a striking image, whether it's single artwork or whether it's the video or something, you almost need to hit everything at the same time is really the answer to be as impactful as possible, because people are scrolling at the fastest rate they've ever been scrolling, and it's like you need something there to be like, oh, what was that? Like, and I know myself, somebody that does this. I do it myself. I'm scrolling past and then I pay attention to like so little of it. I don't even know why I'm doing it. And then all of a sudden there's something I was like, oh,
scroll.
Hey, what was that? And then you go back a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what you need to do to get people almost. And it's either that or luck. Like, and I say luck in the means of like, Don Maple is having a great time on a Saturday night in lockdown, and he's just drank like a bottle and a half of wine, and he's looking for music. And he's going through Facebook, and he's like, "Who the hell are these guys, man? These guys fucking awesome." And then I Love You Forever. But that's luck, dude. That's fucking, you know, it could be it's something as simple as I seen a picture that you were promoting of yourself. It's like, just release a new song, and you have like a shirt that has like fucking Zelda Ocarina of Time on it or something. I was like, I like this motherfucker. My guy. I like this motherfucker. Just like, man, this is the scary thing whenever it comes to it. And yes, it probably means that people are not always focusing on the music, but it's
unfortunately the truth. Like,
it's to do with so many aspects of the thing. Is you almost need people to fall in love with you. That's the best way I would say it. Is like, it's the hardest thing. Is like, you need someone to fall in love with what you do. It's not just the music. It's not just it's like everything at once. And sometimes one makes the other easier. Sometimes your music's so good that it doesn't matter as much about the image and the videos and everything else that comes. And sometimes you love everything else about that person that you start enjoying the music, even though maybe it wasn't your thing.
Yeah,
it's weird the way the brain works like that, but I think likability is up there, man. Likability is up there for actually getting people on board.
Two things I was going to say there, like that point that you're making about scrolling, and as much as, you know, Daniel was making the point about, you know, it doesn't sit right with him, the image can be so important and stuff. Like, you especially got to take into account, like, if you are promoting your stuff on social media, like, you know yourself, everybody's scrolling on mute. So it's always going to be a visual that grabs you first.
Sure.
The second thing is you're going to realize, hopefully, within like 2 seconds, literally, that the visual is a band or some form of music, and it has to be powerful enough for you to click unmute. And I'm talking about like Facebook and Instagram and stuff now. This isn't like maybe fall down a YouTube hole, or as you say, like sometimes you can get people with literally a picture and no music behind it. Like if you're wearing like a shirt or something and people connects with you in weird ways, that can happen too. But yeah, like a lot of the time, unfortunately, well, I'm going to say unfortunately, but then I'm going to follow up with my own opinion on it. Unfortunately, it can be quite visual. But here's the thing, and here's my thought on all of this. You know, Stu, that I've been working on a song myself. This is the first time I will ever put out music by myself, because I always felt like so comfortable in the whole band role, surrounded by all my buds, you guys, and in B Button and stuff, and that was comfortable. That was my home, and I just like to do little riffs and stuff, and I didn't like to like take on the whole thing myself because it was very, very scary to me. So whenever lockdown happened, I had all this time and stuff, and I started going, right, I'm just gonna try and get through a song for myself, to prove that I can do it, start to finish, all the different pieces. I can't play every instrument. I'm nowhere near as talented as my brother here, who puts out music as Don Maple. But I just wanted to say, hey, I done that, and I'm proud of it, whatever. I have a song finished there, but here's the thing about it. My point, with all the image stuff, whenever you like write a song, you're like trying to connect with people in some way, or like bring them into your world. A lot of the time you're like trying to say something, or like kind of like trigger a feeling or whatever. And it's like, why then would you not also transfer that to the imagery that you put out, or the, like if you film a music video or whatever? Why? And I understand some people are just all about the music, and that's fine. I get that. Singer-songwriters, that's okay. But like, if you have that sort of creative mind, why not actually like relax and take enjoyment out of those other aspects as well? It's like, well, I can reinforce this song and this feeling or whatever I'm trying to put out with the visuals, with a music video, and like I can add even more to that creative thing that I was trying to do and get that message across, or get that feeling that I was feeling across to people even better with all these other bits and pieces. I actually find it fun because you know, like, I mean, I have that music video and stuff that I filmed there. I don't know if anybody else will like it, but I enjoyed the whole thing as a creative project. And it's like, it was an extension of the song. And it was like, I just burrowed further and further into like the whole theme of what I came up with and stuff. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I can understand certain people getting annoyed that like image is part of it. But at the same time, I don't know. I suppose the way I think about it is like, I actually sometimes enjoy that side of it, as long as like, I don't care if anybody likes anything that I put out or anything, as long as I feel good about what I've done with it as like a whole thing. Yeah, you know what I mean? I can understand how people can get really, really worried about like people judging them as like the whole image put together sort of thing. But like, I wouldn't think of it that way. Do it for yourself the same way you're doing the music for yourself. Cause I think that's what it should be about in the first place. It should be fun. It should be like a hobby first, or an interest first, and a job second, hopefully. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, 100%, man. And can I just say, like, the video is awesome. I've been lucky enough to see it, and the video is incredible. It's really good. I'm excited for it to come out. It's pretty much my fault that it's not out yet, because I'm producing it. So
it's fine. Take all the time in the world. Because now that I've said it out loud, I'm afraid.
I've been working. I'd say not working on that hard. I've been working hard at my other job, and then whenever I get a break here and I get some holidays, then I'm straight into the mixing again, because I got my own project I'm working on too, and Mike's here, which I want to get finished up because I feel like it's very nearly there. There's just little elements I want to add to it, but I think you're right, man, and I speak as someone that probably doesn't do that other side of it as much as he should. I do enjoy it when I do, like, say, a video, or I like it when I have an image that feels like me to go with things. This is just
extremely important. That's what I was gonna. Yeah, that's another. I'll not go on. I'll let you say what you were gonna say. But I think that's early days B button and stuff. We struggled with a bit of that. Like, what is it and stuff. And it's like, I feel like it's easier to do the whole image thing, take your press shots and do your music videos and everything else, if it is very much just you know what I mean? So like, anything that you're filming or any ideas that you come up with, it just feels like you. It doesn't feel like you're pretending to do something else, or you're doing something else because it's popular or something. You know what I mean? I definitely think that's an important part of it.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to touch on, is like, you know, the difference to the two main projects I've been involved in is Don Maple, which is what I do now. And although I've played with different, you know, band members and stuff, Don Maple is me. Like, that, it's just me, and it's an extension of me. The way I behave, the lyrics in the songs, like, sometimes they're a bit jokey, sometimes they get a bit deep. I was like, that's pretty much me as a person. Don Maple is a guy that wears dad sweaters, like, but he still raps. Like, that's just what you're gonna get, right? So, hit the B button. Real struggle. It was 4 people in a band. Yes, me and Mike were there. The whole band name was mainly me and Mike's idea. And I think if it was us, we should probably just would have went down the whole dorky, nerdy path, because that's just me and Mike. That's what we do, man. We would have completely followed that to the ends of the earth. But not that there was like a fallout or anything like that. It's just like, I don't think that was the theme that the whole band wanted to go for. And it also made it questionable, because a lot of the time I didn't feel like the music even would fit that image as we went further into the band. The longer it went on, the image didn't match the music. It was a bit complicated. Then we didn't know what it was. And ultimately the thing kind of fell apart in a way. And I think it was a lot to do with differing opinions and different musical styles, which would make us make these absolutely absurd and bizarre songs, which I still love to
I love them.
They're the best. And they could only be made by like the 4 of us. But
I think we just needed like a 5th party to deal with the image, because very much like the image came from me and you, and as you say, maybe it didn't fit with the songs. Maybe somebody who was smarter than us could have made it work, or maybe we just needed to do something completely different. I don't know. But like the songs, I am still proud and I'm happy with them till this day. Like,
oh yeah, 100%, man. But I mean, I think it would even speak to the live show. Is like, I would have these little funny comedy skits that I come up with like for the start of the show or in the middle of the show where I'd like meld songs together and stuff. Like, yeah, I'd intro the show with like the magical mystery tour that would like delve into a slow motion version of the Spice Girls wannabe. And yeah, man, I just done silly things like that, and then we'd like play a really deep math rock song about death. It was like, that doesn't work though, does it? I don't know.
Well, but I think the people there was enough people that did actually like us. I think that's maybe what they appreciated was just the whole bizarreness of the thing.
I know how to deal with like that skit is very much me. That's what I'm about. And you know, I'll have fun with it. Like that's fine. And I don't mind, like, you know, I made a record where I do get very deep on it, but there's also little jokes in my songs or like things that you can take a bit lighter. Yeah, I don't know. I know how to deal with me, and I hope that my image gets built up over time. But like I've maybe said a million times on this show, is like without this podcast, I don't think I would have as many fans of my music. And I think that goes to show as well how it's not just music based. Definitely not for me anyway. Is like I think more people are fans of me because they like me from the show, and you know they've come to know me and they like me as a person, and then they're like, I wonder what that guy's music is actually like, and then they've taken the time to listen. So I've kind of had a reverse thing with that. It's like even though I'm a musician, trying to make this show about how hard it is to be a musician, it's actually helped me in a weird way. But yeah, it's probably the very first thing I said. My thoughts on the matter is it's a little subjective and it's a lot to do with luck. Andy, how you feeling? I don't know whether Andy has too much to say or nothing.
I probably have stuff to say, but it's right. So from an outsider's point of view and everything I've been hearing, and this stems from a topic that was spoken about last week about funding for stuff and having places to play. And sometimes I'm on the side of just putting stuff out, regardless of how many, you know, you talk about albums. Oh, look, his back catalog. You can't have a back catalog unless you make one.
Yep.
So even if you have 18 singles, you have 18 singles, then smash an album out. Somebody listens to them singles. Oh, there's an album, but at least you've got them 18 singles, 4 EPs, whatever the hell it's going to be. Yeah. The whole thing of we're in an age now where it's so easy to get on, but it's also so saturated that it makes it hard. I know that sounds stupid,
you're 100% right. Yes.
But the best thing to do is just to put music out. Luck, like Stu said, is obviously a big part of it. But doing stuff yourself and stop relying on outside sources controlling what you can't control. You can only control what you can control. That's making the music and putting it out the best you can. And that's it. And there's so many means of putting music out, putting your image out on just your phone alone, that searching for outlets to put your stuff out and making connections, it's almost wasting time if that just goes into the ether and nobody sees it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I understand that smaller artists have to do that sometimes, but to rely on that and try and go, right, this is a plan. Every time I put something out, I need to hit this base, I need to hit this base, because then you get stuck in that rut, surely.
Yes.
And if nothing moves the first 5 times, why is it going to work the 6th time, 7th time? Are you waiting 30 times to push a project on?
Yep.
And then that stems to the topic of last week, where, again, waiting on venues to fund stuff. If the community of music is so close, bands should get together and try and build something themselves, funding-wise. no matter how long it takes. I was thinking about this during the conversation. Like find somewhere to hire, get bands that you play well with, have a good rapport with, and make a mini gig, because just hire the place out. And again, this is obviously not as easy as I'm just spouting out like it's easy to do. But again, if you have a plan, just the community of bands, musicians, anything comes together and put on a night yourself, like punk independent style.
Yes. Yeah.
Waiting on venues. Again, you're just waiting on things. It's like, right, I've got these ideas, but I'm waiting on that. What if that never moves?
Yeah, and it probably won't. Maybe not in this country anyway. That's the biggest issue. But I mean, don't get me wrong, it happens. People do rent out venues and stuff. I think the problem's always been the cost is wild.
Yeah,
and it's a lot to do with again, something we were maybe touching on a little bit last week, but it's to do with the licensing, alcohol license, potential security, depending if you're doing like all age gigs where you're booking it and stuff. It's like they start throwing all these costs at you and you're like, this feels like I'm being robbed a little bit, because I don't think this happens if you're having a normal night. But
that's the problem with music. Regardless of what you do, you're getting robbed anyway.
Yeah, because the whole point is you want to pay the people that you're working with at the end of it, and you can't. And that's why I think there is a disconnect, because yeah, wouldn't it be great if everybody came together to do a show where they all didn't mind getting paid? But really that defeats the purpose of like being paid as an artist. The worry is like, what if I get to the end of the show and I can't give these guys enough money? Like that's the constant worry, and that's why people don't want to do it.
I think maybe like if you were putting on a big thing like this and you were taking it all on yourself, you would have to be doing it with bands that you trusted. And maybe the thing would be, look, put it this way. I don't know. Maybe this isn't really the right way to think about things, but there has been times I've done free things for people, for like different things that I can personally do, like drawing artwork, digital artwork, whatever, like filmed certain things for people because I'm not bad with video editing and stuff either. And I've done some free stuff that has eventually led to more people getting to know you, and it's led to paid work, and it's led to other things. So like in the same regard, what Andy's talking about here is maybe if you could do stuff with bands that you trusted and go, look, this isn't necessarily a paid thing. I'm not trying to fleece you. I'm not going to pay myself either. If there is any money to be made, if there's a tenner and there's 10 bands, we'll each get £1 or whatever, that sort of thing. But the whole idea is we try and make this a big thing with a stacked lineup, and it brings a crowd, and then hopefully it snowballs from there, sort of thing, and people want us to do it again. And then next time we can charge more at the door or whatever, or we can make sure people get paid the next time. Maybe it has to start with free or don't expect too much, and then things move on from there. As you say, it has been done before, and it has been done successfully, and sometimes it has been done, yes, with the involvement of people higher up in the music scene or venues that have a little bit more sway. I know like one of the biggest things that's happened on our music scene was that a little Solidarity gig.
Yes,
that
I was going to mention that. Yeah.
The two big bands there were And So I Watch You From Afar and A Plastic Rose at near like the top of their powers at the time, and that was an incredible thing to be at. There was so many other amazing bands, and I think the real big thing about all of that, and what I really take from Andy's point is most important, and like we've realized more and more as we've went on in our music careers and the music scene and stuff, is like collaboration is key. Collaboration is the main thing, and it's like actually being involved in your music community and knowing other people, and like not having this weird, because it definitely happens out there. There is some people that are out on the music scene and they have this weird sort of egotistical view of things where it's like the stuff that they put out deserves to be listened to, and it's like out it goes into the world. Why is people not liking my stuff? But yet they're sitting there and they don't give anybody else the time of day. They don't interact with people or whatever. And it's like, well, how you're not a part of anything. And if like you're starting at a grassroots level, how can you expect anybody to interact back?
I'm gonna say, so see when we were in when was it? Was it 2-3 years ago? when we were in Culture Night. Do you know how many people in bands walk past each other and don't interact with any other bands unless they're on stage and go, "Oh, I love you." But you go by in a cafe and they just go, and then they look away. Zero interaction.
Yeah, it's scary, dude.
It's only when you're on stage that you interact, but when you're outside in the real world, you're like, I don't know that person, because there's nothing to be gained from that.
Yeah. And I like to hope, Andy, not to self-promote here, but you've walked with me through the streets of Belfast on Culture Night. How many people did I hug before COVID was a thing? I'm a man of the people. I see people and I hug them. And I still have one of the best compliments I ever received from the guitarist of Alpha Twin when I hadn't seen him in a while, and I hugged him on Culture Night, and he told me, "You look really healthy." And I was like, "Thank you," because I have been trying to get healthy. And that was a better compliment than "you look good." So thank you very much, Tomas, for that. That it still sticks with me to this day. It's like, man, you're looking really healthy, and I was like, thank you. I feel healthy. Thank you.
Just my final thing about, because I was going to bring up what Mike brought up at the start of your music hobby, because it's a hobby first, then a career if you get there.
Sure.
Free is the best thing you can do, like Mike was saying. Like literally doing stuff for free, unfortunately, is probably the only road you can go down for the first few years.
I just got to watch who you're doing it for.
Yeah, I think exactly.
Is the thing.
That's the important
It's how
part.
you do it where, but you
don't want to be taken advantage of.
Yeah, but you can't go in, and this is the same. I know a mate of mine who's doing the Twitch thing, and all he focused on was the money, this, and then he was stressing himself out. It's like, dude, do it for fun, free, know what you're getting into. Go through your hobby like a business, but know that there's no income at the start until you perfect it or getting to perfect it. Yeah. Because if you're wanting instant gratification from money and you don't get it, you're going down a slippery slope.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that's why, like, you know, there's, to use something of an analogy of another thing that people try and get big on, you know, it's not like, if you could just go onto, say, YouTube and be like, I'm going to be a YouTuber now, and you could instantly get paid ads, wouldn't that be great? But no, they're not going to do that until you have like 10,000 plus subscribers. Yeah. And there's a reason for the number, is because it's hard to get. And it's like, it's the same. You imagine if you didn't get paid at all as a musician until you had like 10,000 fans. Like, fuck, I don't think most people that listen to the show have 10,000 fans. Like, I know I don't. And it's the hard thing to do, because it's almost a bit taboo to say something like that. But there is a hard thing where nobody should be taken advantage of. Yes, you should be paid for shows whenever you go to play them. All of that definitely makes sense. But anyone who's out here expecting to drop a single and think that the world's going to stop and look at it and listen to it and be like, this is the best thing ever, here, take all my money, ain't going to happen. Like, it's just not.
And that's the thing that I always say. You can control the majority of that. The only thing that you probably can't control is getting blindsided by some asshole or something.
Yeah, which might happen, but it's a learning curve, and then you learn, don't work with that person. Like, no, fuck that guy. I'm not gonna do that anymore.
Control what you can control. Uncontrollables are just, you have to learn from them.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
And the thing that is in, like, you have the most power over is just how you deal with it, and it is the hardest thing to overcome. Again, to go back to an episode we just done recently with Ethan Hanna, but he talked a lot about learning to do it for himself, and it's something that I know me and Mike talked about a lot in the band. It's the hardest thing. I know I find it difficult, because to me, I need some form of goal. I need to be doing it for something. Like, you see, if I'm not fighting for something, I'm like, well, why am I even doing it? So yes, I like to set goals and stuff, but it's the not putting yourself down when you don't achieve something, because every once in a while you will. I know one of my last things I'm very honored to be a part of was Douglas Week, and that sort of just came out of the blue. if I track back, would it ever have happened if I hadn't started this podcast? No, because I started the podcast, became friends with Sarah McCready, who we had on as a guest because she enjoyed the show, helped her feel connected to the Belfast music scene while she was living in Cork. We've been friends ever since, communicating. She was the one hosting this event, asked me to be part of it. Like, that is the sort of shit that happens. And that go back. You're talking years in the making for me to get that opportunity.
Go back to multiple episodes. I regurgitate that all the time. Like, this can lead to something, can lead to something, can lead to something, and come back to this again. And you're just picking up new things every single time. It's like,
yeah. So I guess, look, unless anyone has a final point on this, can I summarize the big question?
Go for it.
What was the question?
The big question this week was...
I think the question was, will you guys just talk for like a half an hour and
kind of just go off on tangents and not actually get to the point? Look, it's meant to be what's your key actions for releasing music? And
Mike, do you want to go through the three of us? Do you want to go first, or do you want just quick bullet points?
Well, I still say what I said at the start. And I think Andy had a lot of good stuff to say on it. Was almost like, you know what? Stop thinking about it and just put it out. It's always been my motto, is like, you think about it too long and the moment starts passing. Your excitement passes, your motivation passes. Get it out, because a lot of it is going to be luck, and it's about what you do with yourself and your attitude towards it afterwards. I really do believe that. There's a lot of things you can do, but I wouldn't think that there is one path to it at all. I just don't believe that.
Don't get me wrong. Don't put out absolute garbage every time.
Well, that's not what I'm saying.
I don't mean that. I just mean, like, there's these people that hang on to stuff because they're like, this is the one, guys. You gotta get this one right. We gotta do this, blah, blah, blah. Some people might think I'm wrong for saying that, but...
Do you know how quickly things dated, though?
That's the issue. Is you hold on to it for so long. See, whenever you bring it out, your expectations, how wildly high. You're not the only one. Doesn't matter if you're somebody who has absolutely no money and is releasing it. Huge artists might have very big expectations for the next project they're working on, and then they bring it out and it's an absolute flop. Like, I mean, it happens. But you just got to do it. You just got to do it, man, because people pass over it very quickly. Unfortunately.
The internet can launch someone. This was I don't know. This was going to be my last thing, but Kenny Beats, Kenny Beats,
yes,
right?
Do.
Like, his podcast that you probably seen me put on Instagram and stuff, like with Rick Rubin, talks about like regional sounds of hip hop and stuff, and the amount of new artists that aren't even signed that he picks up from, Triller, that like dance app, from the TikTok apps, all these people just using like GarageBand and all this stuff, and he goes on the internet and he finds these people and then he works with them, and then instantly, just boom, they just go from bedroom to working in a studio with Kenny Beats to getting mentioned on a Rick Rubin podcast, and then millions of people know about it. It's like, literally, that's how quickly it is. That's how quickly stuff can go. But the thing is, the people that he was talking about, final time I'm going to say this, put out projects, content, EPs, not really albums because they're just doing stuff, and they are unique. They haven't got an image per se, but their music pretty much speaks for itself. Like, they just have a unique take. So that's how quickly stuff can happen, and luck. Put it out.
I'll say my summary on it is kind of taken from what Andy says, because I'm going to go with him because he's the Portuguese pen prophet and he can predict the future. And I really like what he said there. Is like, don't worry about things that you can't control. Only worry about what you can control. So like, if you're talking about like 3 key things to get right on release, it is literally 1, the song, 2, the artwork, 3, the video, whatever. Like, it's whatever you're putting out as this whole complete thing that you're trying to, and not sell to people in a monetary sense, but sell to people as in, I've got you on board sort of thing. It's like, you can't control anything else. Like if you have no budget, you can't do all the ad marketing and stuff like that. I mean, you can try and get yourself in a room with the right people and try and make contacts and everything else. But then again, it's like, some people might not click and everything else. You can't control all these other moving parts. What you can control is what you're putting out and the quality of what you're putting out. So I kind of agree with what Andy says is, just get those things right. What you're actually in control of.
And make sure the image is as close to yourself and true to yourself as possible. Yeah. Because if that's a fake image, and that changes slightly, people on the internet will turn on you quicker than anything.
You know what I have always said, and it's not just for music, it's just in general, but I truly believe that majority of people do have an innate sixth sense for phoniness. Is like, you just know whenever you meet a person, like, I know I can, I'm like, fake though. Like, fake though. They're pretending that they're something that they're not, and it turns me the wrong way and immediately makes me hesitant of that person. It's the same for a band or a musician or whatever. I've seen a couple before where I'm just like, I don't really think they're like that though. And it's like, you can have stage persona to an extent, but I think it needs to be an exaggerated version of yourself. If you go too far off the beaten track, it's like, I think it's too obvious that is just not you though.
Yeah. But there's always going to be that, because when you're performing, you need to.
It needs to be a bit.
It's another thing that you can actually have fun with if you can relax enough to enjoy it. Enjoy the fact that you can be like a 200% version of yourself, whatever that is. Like, whether that's like going like more into emo or more like extra or whatever the fuck it is that you are kind of like. You get to like dial that up to 200% because you're putting it out as like an art form. You know what I mean?
The best story I heard was there's a hardcore metal band called Killswitch Engage, where they go absolutely mental on stage and do the shredding and the scream singing type stuff, but they go on their tour bus and you see them playing chess. One of them is netting. It's like the best thing. I'm like,
that's great. That's great. Hilarious. That's like that. Do you remember in Wayne's World, whenever it's like they go in to see Alice Cooper, and then Alice Cooper starts talking about like
the origin of Milwaukee,
Native American tribes or something? Yeah, that's incredible. And it's like, yes, Steve. It's like they're so versed in the subject, and it's like, that's hilarious. Right, guys. God, hopefully we answer some of your questions there, give you a little bit of insight. We're gonna jump over to the shout out segment before we wrap up this episode. So here we go.
He's raving in the corner.
What are you looking for? Narcotics?
I went a little bit disco there. Sorry, guys. Flashing my flashlight. I'll start off. I have a couple here. I know Mike has a few to get through. So we'll start off. We've got Aeons with a new single called Smile, and I've listened to this a couple of times in the last couple of days. There are these things in the song, right, where like, I'm gonna give you my experience of listening to the song, which at the start is gonna sound like I'm being negative or something, but I remember listening to it, right, and I was like listening through. First thing that sort of hit me, I was like, vocals are a little bit quieter than I wanted in this mix, right? So as it's going, it's like the guitars are pretty loud. Pretty much once you get to the halfway point of that song, you're quite happy that the guitars are up very loud because there are these amazing sort of like smooth jazz riffs in it. I'm very down with it. The guitar really makes it for me, and there's these like there's this crazy keyboard comes in about 3/4 of the way through the song where it just starts going like, and I'm like, oh man, that was the worst rendition of that. Don't take my word for going to listen to the song, because you'll be like, I'm not gonna listen to that shit. But Smile by Aeons, I do highly recommend it. Like, listen to the whole track because it's really smooth. They're always good at like bringing across these jazz vibes. I know their first song that they ever brought out, Welcome to the Land, is still a favorite of mine, just because it has that really random like hook on it where they just go wow 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 wow. That's literally the hook of the song, and I'm like, yeah, man, that's awesome and original. I sing along to that every single time. So yeah, go check out Smile by Aeons. We also have CMAT bringing out a new single. We love a bit of CMAT here. I Don't Really Care About You is out on the 23rd of February, so we're just getting everybody prepped for that. If you haven't checked out CMAT yet, I mean, I don't know why. If you listen to the show, you know how much we love it, so you should go and listen to CMAT. We also had a single come out that, you know what, you all need to stop making band names with words I can't say, because I just end up going on this show looking like an absolute dick. I was trying to think of a better word, but no.
Do you remember the time I called blood bollocks?
You did. Mike was like, I think he's called bollocks. I was like, well, no. It's called blood. But to be fair to you, it was blood with 2 X's, which is not normally how I spell blood. So that's a fair point.
Like, you know, a band in Belfast, they removed the vowels. That's bound to be bollocks.
I feel like there definitely should be a band called Bollocks if there isn't already. But it's a band called Embarcadero. Is it Spanish? You guys tell me. I don't know.
You just made it Spanish.
Embarcadero. And they have a song called Chasing You Around.
How's it spelled?
Embarcadero. Is it Portuguese? Andy will know. He's the Portuguese pen prophet. EMBARCADERO. The 5 7. Yeah, Embarcadero. And it's called Chasing You Around. It's actually a really cool song. Although, I mean, we're pretty sure that's what were we saying earlier? We think that's Sonya Slater, right? I haven't actually delved deep into this. We think it's Sonya Slater and Daniel Lynch. Definitely sounds like them. So, really cool song though, and I also seen it shared on a couple of pages that seem related to them. So I was like, yeah, that's totally them. Really cool song though. I like what they're doing there. So it's interesting that they have like a band name. So I don't really know what the deal is with that. I'm gonna have to delve a little deeper into it. Look to see what they're doing. And then just one last one from me is a musician called Craig Mcgowan, and that's Mcgowan, McGowan. He has 2 songs out at the minute. One of them's called Parallels and one of them's called Moonbeam. This dude, I found out about him through just a co-worker of mine that I was talking to once. She's a girl I talked to. She like religiously goes to the Beatles Festival in Liverpool every single year. Absolutely loves it. Obviously couldn't go last year because of the pandemic, but over the times that she has went, she's made a lot of friends there with people who play in tribute acts. So this guy Craig Mcgowan played in a band. I think if I remember correctly, she told me they were called Them Beatles. Clever marketing there. But he was the George Harrison of that tribute act. So she was like, oh, this guy, he's brought out some songs and I actually think they're pretty cool. You might like them. So I went and listened to both of them. And I actually really do like them. She was onto something. She obviously knows what kind of style I'm into. But Parallels especially is a song that I was really jamming to. Took me a while to try and figure out what comparison I was going to hit it with. I was like trying to think of all these things. I was like, oh, kind of sounds like if Alex Turner was like the lead singer of MGMT or something like that. Like it's a lot of synth going on, but then a lot of this sort of like Alex Turner vocals going on. And then it hit me today. I was like, you know exactly what it sounds like? Sounds like Suede, the band Suede. I was like, that's what Craig Mcgowan sounds like. He sounds like Suede. So look, big shout out to that guy. He's from Glasgow as far as my contact has told me. Don't know the guy, but like, look, big love to him because I'm loving the songs. Moonbeam actually has this amazing synth. It reminds me of a video game. Reminds me of Majora's Mask, the Zelda game, which probably I'm guessing not what he's going for, but that's how I'm feeling it. But yeah, both great songs. I would definitely go and give them a listen because they're super cool. And he's George Harrison in a Beatles tribute act, so what's better than that? Yeah, Mike, what do you got? Hold
on. Oh, Embarcadero is a place in San Francisco, and it also means a landing place or a wharf or a pier.
There you go.
All right, okay. Well, which one is it, guys? You tell us.
Educating the people.
Educating the people.
So I just think pen profit.
Because I think
is that it again?
Because I think embarco means like a landing place because you like come off a boat and stuff like that.
Disembark or you embark. Yes.
But it's also a place in San Francisco.
There you go.
There we go. We all learned a little something. We're all smarter. Andy made people smarter.
That's a first.
I was gonna say. Okay, Mike, what do you got for shut up segment?
I've got a band called Boring Girls. They're from Montreal, Canada, and they've released a new EP called Hello, Hell No, and it's like a short, sharp kick to the head of raw noise punk.
See what it did.
It's anything but boring. The lead singer, Carolina, shouts out extremely compressed lyrics over like mountains of fudge or fudge. Fuzz.
By the way, that's a sound, you know.
Was that?
Stu, that's your next vocal. Try and sing through Fudge and see what happens.
With fudge in my mind.
Mountains of fudge. That's what you're missing in your next single.
Imagine singing through mountains of fudge.
Instead of having that like pop filter, just have like a thing of fudge.
And I feel like
this is what happens whenever you try and script.
Can't be done. Dude. Can't be done. Okay, so mountains of fudge. Go on.
Yeah, there's mountains of fudge.
Yes.
What it really made me think of was like the garage punk of like Sex Bomb from Scott Pilgrim, but like only if they like dropped acid and went on a bender.
Fair.
And they have an EP up now. I don't think it's on Spotify. It's on Bandcamp. If you want to hunt those guys out, it's very, very cool.
Go check them out. Boring Girls. They sing through fudge.
They sing through fudge.
That's the only thing that people will take away from this, and also that their song is called "Hello, Hell No," which is
hilarious. I want to hear that Fudge band.
What was that Fudge band you guys were talking about? Sorry, guys. Sorry.
As soon as you hear it, you'll be like, "This has nothing to do with fudge."
Or else you'll be like, "Oh shit, I can really hear the fudge on this one."
See, you were just talking about
maybe it's like a new genre.
I know.
Fudge punk.
Fudge punk. I know. You know, Mike done the bollocks thing. Now he's done the fudge band. So
yeah.
Continue. What's next?
I'll try and get through the rest of it.
What other confections are involved in the recording process?
So
shrimps.
Coincidental that we were talking about last week. He just released a video for his single "The Rule of Three," and it's more of the same chill hip hop beats. And John continues to make waves with his special blend of catchy choruses and smooth bars to vibe out to. So like I took a bit of a deep dive after we were talking about him last week, like, and I've been listening for like most of the week, like all his stuff is very, very cool. So check that out. Then High Low and the Tribes dropped a single called Teens Don't Write Diaries Anymore. High Low and the Tribes is one of the guys that was in the band For an Oil. And I've described it here. This is why I shouldn't write this down, because it does come off so like reviewy. It's a warm hug of vintage radio style vocals, 808s and sleepy guitar. It kind of makes you wish you were sipping cocktails in a hammock on some deserted tropical island. That could just be me. Either way, it's top notch, and I recommend checking them out. The last one I got, Kyoto Love Hotel, reposted like a stripped back live session, which we somehow missed. They put it out before Christmas there. It's of their song Sunlight, and it's amazingly haunting reimagining of the equally great but more synthy EP version. Their EP Grow dropped at the tail end of last year, and it is so good. We managed to catch these guys at a Culture Night show a couple of years back, and I remember Andy's reaction. I think his ears really pricked up whenever they started playing.
My highlight of the night, anyway.
I think this live
Sorry
session,
to anyone else that was it.
The live session kind of demonstrates why. As I say, like it's a stripped back, very spacious, delicate, ethereal vocals and piano, and it like comes off really, really beautifully. But We'll stick a link or something into it. It's up there. It's been up for a while.
Because I can't remember what the song was, but I was like, man, this would fit in a Drive soundtrack.
Yeah, yeah,
like the
they've
movie.
kind of got those kind of vibes about them. This does change it up a bit with the like more stripped back sort of version, but like it works as well. Yeah. It's like so good. I like both versions of the song, which is really, really cool. So
awesome. All right, that's it for a shout out segment.
And he's not allowed to shout out nothing.
No. Do you want to shout out something?
No, it's just the play.
And we're back.
We need that countdown thing. We can't do it here.
What is it, Andy?
You know the countdown thing? That's it, no. No, it was another playlist. It was from there's a playlist I found while scrolling through my favorite app, Instagram. District Magazine has a Irish hip hop and trap mixtape playlist on Spotify, where all the faves are there. Leo, Jordan, Dana Anuska. God, I find it hard.
Anuska, yeah.
And I found a new oh my god, Pat Lagoon. That's his name. He's got a cool song on there. But yeah, it's just an Irish mixtape hip hop trap that I've discovered.
I don't think I've heard of him. Although I did recently, and on our Distant Soundwaves playlist, I put on E the Artist. I don't know if you guys have listened to that track yet that I've added, but he also has a song with Leo. Definitely check it out. It's called Caramel. It's not the one I added because I was like, no offense to Leo, but like, Jesus Christ, we have him on every single playlist every month because the dude keeps dropping singles. So like, it's hard not to have him on there. So I was like, right, I'm gonna release or put the one on that's just E the Artist. But yeah, go and listen to that one, E the Artist and Leo Miyagi, Caramel. Oh man, great song. Really love it. Works together. Think you guys will like him as well. It's very cool.
If we're gonna squeeze a couple extras in, I was saying to you just before we started the show there that the Output Belfast short advertisement clip that I shared to my Facebook there's an artist on it that I wasn't aware of before. Tebby Rex has the music over the top of the advert. It's called I Never Got Off the Bus, and I've only heard 30 seconds so far, but maybe we'll be talking about him on next week's show because it sounds very, very cool. So shout out.
I wonder, what does it sound like? Does it sound anything like Childish Gambino or hip hop based at all? No.
Yeah, it does sound hip hop based. It's kind of like on the poppy side of hip hop based.
I'm just curious because Never Got Off the Bus is like the last line of Childish Gambino's Camp record, where he has that song about like, you know, coming back from summer camp, and he says about being a kid on a bus, and he goes, that's the thing. It's like, I never got off the bus. It just sounds like it's a reference to that line, but I could be wrong.
Right.
Just be interesting to know.
It's like, as I say, it's got like a kind of like an uplifting feeling about it. As I say, I only just heard what I assume is like the introduction of the track. It's like 30 seconds, but maybe I don't know where they've sort of spliced the audio from. Might not be the very start of it, but it feels like it's building towards something, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But it definitely sounds catchy, like, so.
Well, definitely check them out.
But does it sound like Fudge? Sorry.
Does it sound like Fudge? It's too late, boys.
There's no Fudge in this one, man.
We went too long. It's an hour 47 podcast. I thought it would be an hour podcast. And
this is what happens when you go longer. There's more beers involved, and then I fuck up, and I call a band bollocks, and then lawsuits happen, and we get shut down.
So go home.
Yeah.
We love you. You're very special.
It's the only time I get to interact with fucking people I like.
True. Because what else can we do? It's a fucking pandemic, people. We're stuck in our homes, so we just stay on this as long as possible. Look, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in, like you always do. It's been another episode of Six Set, bro. We've had some laughs. We've had some
fries,
some fudge.
Some fudge. There was fudge involved. There was Heineken involved. We had all kinds of things. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check us out on Spotify. Follow that feed. And yeah, man, we'll be back next week. See y'all later. Bye.